Coming from CNBC, Iran says it attacked Amazon infrastructure in Bahrain. So it looks like the world of technology support might be getting a hell of a lot uglier in 2026. I will be very curious to see where this goes. I also think this is an interesting story coming right after the attack on the Wild Berries warehouse in Russia. So basically, Wild Berries is Russia's version of Amazon, and Ukraine decided to go after one of their major warehouses. So they literally sent, I think their Flamingo, their long range, cruise missiles or whatever the hell it is you want to call them. They bombed the hell out of that warehouse facility, killed 7 employees, apparently injured something like 30 other employees, and the entire warehouse went up in flames. Why I kind of think this is interesting, as I've talked about before, when I got into technology, I got into technology in the Army, wound up getting my criminal justice degree, thought my life was going down one route until the dot-com bubble took my life down an entirely different route. And one of the things that I find fascinating in the modern world is how so many tech bros, so many founders and CEOs take security for granted. Right? When they build infrastructure, when they hire employees, when they do so many of the things that they do, there's this weird thing where the tech bros talk about us being at war, right? Not that we're going to be going into war with China or whatever else, but Eli, we're already at war. But the funny part is, right? They're not prepared for it in any way, shape, or form, right? They don't prepare, they don't harden their infrastructure. They don't have counterintelligence assets within their organizations or companies. Basically, they're really hard alpha dogs talking about how war is hell, as they sip their very fancy microbrews in their very fancy bars and go home to their very fancy houses and kind of ignore the real world security implications of. But what if we actually are at war? How do you build your systems for resiliency in an era of warfare, right? That's the whole thing, like with the Wild Berries warehouse, something to be thinking about. The whole concept of centralization versus decentralization, right? The idea with centralization is when you centralize resources, generally speaking, it's a more efficient and cost-effective utilization of resources. You have everything in the same area, so supporting everything becomes a lot easier, a lot less expensive. Being able to interact with people or equipment, all of that becomes a lot easier, the whole 9 yards. Basically, that's why you like big data centers or like big warehouse facilities or whatever else, right? That there's a value of the centralization effect. The problem with that is it's also a massive vulnerability. If you have one large warehouse, and whether it's a Flamingo missile hits it, or whether it's just a pissed off employee that decides to light all your toilet paper on fire, that happened in the US about 2 months ago. One way or the other, if you have one big facility and it goes boom, then that means all of your resources just went boom with it, right? Whereas if you look at decentralization, if you decentralize things, it is more expensive because you got to have more facilities all over the place. You have to have more links to all of these different facilities, and that is going to cost you money. Since things are geographically separated, it means you're probably going to need more employees, right? There's a hell of a lot more friction in that particular system. But if one warehouse goes boom or one data center goes boom in a decentralized architecture, generally for a disaster recovery scenario, everything should be moving along pretty well, right? If you design your disaster recovery scenarios properly and you have the resources, your end users may not even know an entire data center or warehouse went boom. And even if you didn't have enough resources to go to that degree, even if it does, okay, maybe shipments or maybe something slows down a little bit, maybe performance degrades by 10%, it doesn't degrade by 100%. Right. And that's one of the things you have to be thinking about, with But with degradation, again, how do you mitigate degradation, right? Because if everything goes down, if you lose 100% capacity, you basically lose your business. If you lose 10% capacity, you may have to apologize to people. You may have to give some discounts or whatever else, but you can probably keep the business going. If you lose 50% capacity, right, that is going to damage your business, but you can probably keep your business limping along until everything cools down. These are kind of things you got to consider with this kind of infrastructure stuff. The other thing to be thinking about too is with infrastructure in warfare is in the past 15, 20 years, we've gone to a very AWS world, right? Infrastructure as a service. The idea being is I don't want to deal with my own service. I don't want to deal with my own service. I don't want to deal with my own routers, firewalls, those types of things. Basically, I am going to offshore all of my hardware to Amazon or Azure or whatever else because they can invest more in security. They can invest more in resiliency. They can invest more in all of these systems that will keep everything up and running. They can invest more in replication. Now here's an interest. Here's something to ponder. Here's something because we haven't seen this yet. This is coming down the pike. Foreshadowing, right? One of the things we haven't seen yet is what happens when multiple data centers get targeted at the exact same time, right? So if you look at Amazon, if you look at Azure, you can do your own open source intelligence work and probably figure out where data gets replicated to, where failover is, and all of that kind of thing. And so the attacks that we've seen so far and the problems that we've seen so far on things like data centers are a single data center going down. A single data center gets attacked. Oh no. Here's an interesting question. What happens when they start coordinating attacks on data centers? What happens when they don't just simply go after this data center, they also go after 3 other data centers at the exact same time? And then you got to be thinking about that. Like what is your disaster recovery scenario? What is your disaster recovery scenario if AWS goes boom? Real question. Like what? No, no, Eli. But we invested in multiple regions. What if multiple regions go boom? Right. I think this is like a weird thing we're not thinking about. Like right now, we are in a war with Iran. We're not allowed to call it a war. We're not allowed to call it because if it was actually called a war, Congress would have to approve it. And by God, nobody wants Congress to actually do anything. But anyways, we're in a war with Iran, right? We are destroying bridges. We are destroying infrastructure. We've done a lot, like the last 10 days. We have been blowing the shit out of Iran. But for some reason, even when we're doing this, even when our politicians are contemplating boots on the ground, and if you notice, you start to hear more and more of the drumbeat of boots on the ground, right? At first, when this started, obviously there would never be boots on the ground, right? Boots on the ground would be a bridge too far. And then it started to be, well, maybe in certain scenarios, there might have to be a limited engagement of boots on the ground. And then it becomes, well, if they don't submit and surrender, obviously we're going to need to put boots on the ground. Right? But think about this. War. We are at war. American soldiers are dying right now. A couple of them just died the other day, right? American soldiers are being injured right now. American, service people are put in harm's way every single day. We are bombing the ever-loving crap out of another country, and they are sending missiles, drones, and everything else to whatever target that they can hit. And what's weird as an American is like you realize that there's no preparedness here in the United States. I mean, think about this for a second. We are at war. We are at war. And when was the last time you saw a billboard? You're driving down the road and you saw a billboard with Trump's smiling face that said, make sure you have 7 days of food and water in case there is an attack on our infrastructure. When was the last time you saw that? I can't remember the last time I saw that. Right? When was the last time you were driving down the road and you saw Vance's smiling face? And he said, make sure you go to a Red Cross first aid training session so that if your neighbors or whatever get injured in any way, shape, or form, that you can put a band-aid on them or whatever else. That's funny. You don't see it. Right, as a technology professional, when was the last time the NSA reached out to you and said, now that we're in a time of war, we want to verify that your systems are up to snuff in order to be able to deal with hacking incidents and all that kind of stuff? Yeah, isn't it fascinating? Isn't it fascinating? We are at war. War. People are dying. We are beating the shit out of a country, and they're trying to beat the shit out of us. And there is no discussion, not simply about what the consequences of these actions are, but about where our agency in any of this is. Have you thought about that? Have you, as a technology decision maker, sat down with your CEO and had a discussion on what happens if AWS goes boom? So, anyways, we go over, take a look at this. This is coming from the IRGCC, so who knows? Who knows? The other problem too with it is like it's all propaganda at this point. Like what we're told is the IRGCC lies. Anything the IRGCC says is obviously a lie, right? And then our politicians come out and say we are fine. Oh, the Iranians have not done any damage to any of our facilities. We are strong. They are weak. And then we get satellite footage of barracks being destroyed, and hangars being destroyed, and radar stations being destroyed. And this is what we're able to get out of the open source intelligence information. God knows what the hell you can't see from the open source intelligence information. So to be clear, this is propaganda. But to be clear, everybody is propaganda. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has said it attacked Amazon's data infrastructure in Bahrain. Fars news agency said on Tuesday the IRGC, quote, had attacked the central data infrastructure of the American company Amazon in Bahrain with several cruise missiles and destroyed it. So, yeah, tech companies were in the line of fire throughout the early stages of the conflict. We saw before a number of data centers and such were attacked a couple of months ago from Iran, and so now it looks like that they are going to be going after more Amazon data centers and such. Which becomes an interesting question of what will be next. The other thing to be thinking about too is things to be thinking about. Terrorist, are they terrorist attacks? The people that we dislike are always terrorists. Anyways, people who side with the other people who side with the Iranians, one of the interesting things to be thinking about as this stuff moves forward, right? Like, so right now, they're trying to get the Houthis involved, right? So the Strait of Hormuz is closed because of Iran, supposedly closed. I don't know. They're missiling ships that go through it. Anyways, that's going on with Iran right now. They're working with their partners, the Houthis, over to close the connection into the Suez Canal, basically attack Saudi Arabian vessels that are going to be going up through that particular area in the Red Sea. One of the things to be considering with all of this is what happens if this expands, right? What happens if this war grows and it starts to become something larger than it currently is? Like an interesting thing going on here in the United States, right, is this whole Christian nationalism crap, right? This whole idea we are a Christian country fighting the good fight for the world, which basically means anyone who's not a Christian is on the wrong side of that. Hi, I'm not a Christian, but anyways, it is kind of interesting, right? Like as this escalates, where could you see more attacks, right? Like in the US, I mean, we've seen domestic terrorism attacks. Again, I mean, domestic terrorism, right? Everything from the Kansas City bombing, hey, that was somebody who looked a lot like me, to the Pulse nightclub shooting, to a whole bunch of other things. I mean, like one of the things to consider with your data center facilities is what would happen to your data center if somebody walked up with an AR-15? I mean, you think about security for your data center. You're like, oh, look, Eli, we have biometric security. We have raised floors. We have air conditioning. We have 5 different power supplies and 23 different fiber optic connections. We are a highly secure facility. What happens if a couple of people walk up with AR-15s and just start doing very, very bad things to your data center? What would happen at that point in time? Because it is like one of the things to consider here. One of the things I disagree with the Trump administration, the Biden administration, all of this is the whole idea that so much of our power is in artificial intelligence, right? The fundamentally, right? We've heard this so much that fundamentally the United States has to win the AI race, the AI war, right? Whoever wins the AI war will have supremacy over the world. All right, that's the argument. It's a stupid argument. It's stupid on the face of it. But this is one of the things that's been promulgated, right? This is one of the things that's been pushed out to the world, right? This idea that we have to be superior in artificial intelligence. But one of the interesting things to be thinking about with this is when you keep pushing that out to the world, when you keep advertising that to the world, you're telling the world what your weakness is. You're telling the world, please don't blow up our AI data center. Please, please, please don't blow up our AI data centers. Do you think Sam Altman has a disaster recovery scenario for an AI data center going boom? I don't know. So anywho, some things to ponder in 2026. Because it's only going to get stupider. Oh, you think this is stupid? You think that, oh, it's going to get so much worse. So what do you think about this? What do you think about the IRGCC going after data center and AWS data center in Bahrain with apparently numerous missiles possibly being destroyed? What do you think about the idea of civilian infrastructure, civilian technology infrastructure becoming legitimate targets, right? When the IRGCC does this, oh my God, look at these terrorists attacking our infrastructure, right? Ukraine, bomb the shit out of Wildberries. How is that different, right? That's the whole right. The terrorist is in the eye of the beholder, right? The person doing the thing to you that you don't like is a terrorist, right? So, anyways, right? If you got Ukraine doing that, if you got the IRGC doing that, what other things are going to be coming down the pike? Have you built your infrastructure to be able to deal with that kind of disaster? Right? Because everybody agrees that we're going to be going to war with China for some reason. I don't know why. I don't want to go to war. I have zero interest in going to war with China. But again, that's one thing. Like think about if we went to war with a near peer or peer adversary that started dropping ballistic missiles on our data centers. Ha ha! Right? Think about that, right? The whole point of the internet, TCP/IP, a lot of that, right? Decentralized communication infrastructure. So if you looked at communication infrastructure back in the 60s, it all went through things like central offices or whatever. If a central office goes boom, causes a whole massive problem for all of your digital communications. So that's one of the reasons with the internet, right? Massively decentralized. So we've been re-centralizing stuff for years. Think about this. If we went to a war with China, how long would the Azure and the AWS data centers last? And think about this. Both Azure and AWS have massive government contracts with the federal government, with intelligence agencies, with the Pentagon, and the whole 9 yards. Why wouldn't China drop ballistic missiles on those? And then what would happen to your business? What would happen to your business? What if AWS went boom? Anyway, put your thoughts. Put your thoughts down below. If you like these videos, do remember they're on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. And with that, see y'all later.